and welcome to The Acorn, the podcast that drops a little bit of psychoeducation so you can gain a better understanding of the therapy world and yourself. So without further ado, let's jump into our episode. Hello, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 9 of The Acorn. This podcast episode is entitled The H.A.L.T Hack. And this is actually going to be our final podcast episode of this season. I thought that this would be a good podcast episode to end on. Why? Because everyone gets dysregulated. The key thing, though, is to recognize and learn to better manage your emotional state. If you'd like a quick way to manage your stress by identifying your feelings and responding to them effectively, then this is why I want you to try the H.A.L.T hack. And that's H.A.L.T. That's an acronym, and it stands for hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. What's great about this hack is you can do it with everybody. So you can do it with moms and dads and kids. It's amazing to just be able to identify what is happening with the other person. So let me break it down for you, okay? Let's begin with the H. If you're finding that you're feeling maybe a little bit grumpy or stressed out or upset, then I want you to check your body for biofeedback. It could be that you're just feeling hungry. And if that's the case, simply try and nourish your body with foods that are healthy. Get some water, get some actual healthy fruits and vegetables, get some seeds, some nuts. I want you to try and just fill your body with really good healthy food, okay? By having food that's healthy, you're stabilizing your blood sugar and your mood. Maybe grab a sandwich, grab a salad, and I want you to eat it mindfully. I also want you to pay attention to your emotional needs, because maybe there's an emotional hunger that you can then choose to nourish in healthy ways too. So pay attention to those two things, okay? Now let's go on to the A. So while anger is a healthy emotion, sometimes the way we express our anger can actually have some pretty serious negative repercussions. So that's why it's important to go under the surface and figure out what could be driving the emotions of anger that you're noticing simmering just on the surface or just below the surface. So what can you do when you're angry? If you're having a problem with someone else, I want you to try and calmly communicate your feelings to them and see if you can come up with some sort of resolution. Now, if talking to that person isn't possible, then try journaling about your feelings in order to help bring some clarity to your mind and some calm to your nervous system. And if that doesn't work, then get the aggression out in a helpful way. Take some boxing lessons, join a spin class, or do another physical activity. Anything to just get it out of your system, okay? Now let's go on to the L. Feelings of loneliness can emerge when you're feeling alone or even sometimes when you're surrounded by lots of other people. The key here is to build connections with people that are healthy and are real. Surround yourself with people who you're able to attune to, and they're able to attune to you, and you know that they truly care about you. So what should you do when you're feeling lonely? I want you to try and reach out to a friend and share what you're going through with them. Sometimes all it takes to feel better is to simply say, I feel lonely and I need a hug. So I want you to try your hardest to cultivate friendships with people who are emotionally safe. People who allow you to offer them that safety and connection, and people who are able to offer you that safety and connection too. It goes both ways. There's a reciprocity here that's super important. The last one is T. And we live in a part of the world where busyness seems to be the norm. Unfortunately, that has led to things like poor sleep, exhaustion, chronic stress, and burnout. And even when people try to wind down for the night, they find that they can't stop their minds from racing. And it's hard for them to get their nervous systems to relax. Now, many people know that this is not good for their health, but yet they still find it to be such a struggle to get this part of their lives under control. So what do you need to do when you're tired? I want you to then look at it not just about like when you're going to sleep, but look at it throughout the entire day. When you wake up, what are the things that you can do to actually be more mindful and to take care of your body? Throughout the day, go for a walk in nature, engage in breathing exercises, or even create a helpful bedtime routine. Maybe for you, it's that you take a lavender bath every night before bed. Maybe for you, it's having a cup of chamomile tea right before bed. Maybe for you, it's smelling essential oils that really help your nervous system to calm down right before bed. You decide what works for you. It's going to be different for everybody, but you get to decide this is what works best for me. Okay? So what I want you to understand when it comes to this HALT hack is that you need to better understand your body and its needs. This only usually takes like a minute to assess what's happening inside of you. Maybe it takes a little bit longer at first when you begin, but over time you're going to get better at this, okay? So I want you to try it and try it and try it until it takes just around a minute or less for you to then go, oh, this is what's happening. I'm feeling hungry. I need to do something about that. The important thing here is that you can do something practical to help yourself. The HALT hack will allow you to be present and reflect on what's happening inside of your body and begin to take care of your basic needs in real time. If you want a PDF download of the HALT hack, so you remember what the acronym stands for, go onto my website. You can download it for free. Place it somewhere that's handy so you can be reminded of all of these tips whenever you need them. Now, as we end out season 2 of the podcast, I want you to remember to take a moment in your day, each and every day, to pause, breathe, hope, and heal. Take care. Well, this has been another episode of The Acorn. Remember, the content in these podcast episodes are for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Disclaimer. Anything said in this podcast should not be considered as treatment, professional consultation, advice, clinical instruction or assessment, or any other mental health replacement. Listening to this podcast does not create a therapist-client relationship between you and the podcast host. Always seek the advice of your own mental health provider regarding any questions or concerns you may have about your mental health needs. Also, if you need immediate help, contact your mental health provider or call 911. Take care.